Expert witnesses, such as engineers or doctors, may not always be available at the time of trial. Their testimony can be taken by videotape deposition and then used at the time of trial. The expert witness in a school bus and truck accident is having his deposition videotaped while the transcript of his testimony is prepared using a real-time reporting system.
Why did you perform these tests?
In simple terms, brakes work because of friction. And that is, when the brake is applied, friction occurs, which slows the vehicle. But friction does more than stop the vehicle. It also creates heat. As the friction increases, the heat increases, and the ability of the brakes to reduce speed decreases.
Why is that?
Well, brake linings are composed of glue and strengthening material. When they become hot, the glue softens and begins to melt. As a result, the linings become slick and provide less friction, no longer offering the same level of resistance to the rotation. When brake lining temperatures exceed 500 to 600 degrees, the system's ability to function properly is compromised.
Was that the case here?
Actually, it was worse here. With a tractor trailer, there are 10 brakes. When properly maintained and adjusted, theoretically, if one should fail, the truck will still be able to slow down and stop because of the remaining 9. However, if some are out of adjustment, that causes others to work harder, creating more friction and heat, resulting in a faulty brake.
What was the condition of the brakes in this case?
8 out of 10 brakes were out of adjustment. Basically, 2 brakes were doing the work of 10.
Anything else?
Well, the fact that only 2 brakes were properly adjusted is significant and surely accounts for the truck being unable to stop. That is exacerbated by the hilly conditions encountered before reaching the exit ramp.
Explain that statement, please.
The truck climbed 2 hills and descended 3 inclines before reaching the exit ramp. Each descent required use of the brakes, so you'd have friction, heat buildup, and the resultant loss of braking power. The climbs in between would allow for some cooling. My calculation is that at the bottom of the first descent, the brake temperature exceeded 800 degrees. With each descent, the temperature would have been higher and the brake function would have been more compromised.
Objection. The testimony is speculative as to the temperature in violation of FRE 401.
He's allowed to conduct tests and make conclusions based upon industry standards.
Well, that may be for a judge to decide, but you haven't laid the proper foundation.
What did you rely on in calculation of brake temperature?
In the 1980s, Rockwell International, a brake manufacturer, conducted tests on the effects of poorly adjusted brakes. The results of those tests are well known and commonly used in evaluating stopping distances and tolerances for brake and brake adjustment.
Did you, based upon the information reviewed, reach a conclusion to a reasonable degree of engineering certainty as to the cause of the accident in this case?
Yes.
And what is that conclusion?
To a reasonable degree of certainty, the accident was the result of failure to properly maintain and adjust the air brakes. With 8 out of 10 brakes out of adjustment, the 2 remaining brakes were unable to stop the truck at the end of the exit ramp, resulting in the collision.
Your witness?
Do you know who is responsible for brake maintenance?
Well, I know the standard operating procedure in most trucking companies.
Please, share that information.
Most companies require the driver to pre-trip their truck, meaning to conduct a safety inspection before taking the truck out on the road. This includes operation of lights, connections between the tractor and the trailer, and the air brake system. The driver makes the decision whether to drive or to send the truck for service.
Thank you. I have nothing more.
How effective will the expert witness testimony be using the videotape instead of personal appearance before a jury? Why did the defense lawyer limit his questions? What is the foundation of the defense's objection?